Hey you beautiful people, welcome back to a new video on our channel Read Travel Become. If you are someone who absolutely loves the idea of reading books, you love being surrounded by books, you love talking about books, whenever it comes to reading a book, you are really excited about books. You know all about the authors, you know what books are popular, but when you actually sit down, gather your thoughts and try to read a book, you open a book or maybe you listen to an audiobook or maybe you are going through your Kindle or on your iPad, you somewhere feel you're lost after reading a few pages. You try pushing yourself but still you're lost, and then again you close the book and you never open it again. And maybe you complete some books but somewhere down the line you lose interest in the overall idea of reading. It takes months and months for you to finish that one book which everybody seems to be reading, and then you lose all interest in the habit of reading. If you are someone like this, then this video is definitely for you. I've been reading for quite some years now, and every year I try to analyze what is helping me to be consistent, what is helping me in my reading schedule, why am I falling in love with the habit of reading. I try to analyze that every year, and this year I was able to structurize everything in a very nice way, in a very structured way. I have basically developed some tips and tricks, some hacks, these little hacks which I incorporate in my daily life to sustain my love of reading books. What are these hacks? I'm going to share in this particular video. There are 7 hacks which are very easy to implement, and I'm going to share all of those in this particular video. This video is going to be very interesting. Make sure you watch the video till the end. You may never know which thought or fact may resonate with you and change the course of your life. So let's get started. Let's start with the most important technique you have to follow. The important technique is following the right mindset. Now, what do I mean by that? Following the right mindset means, why are you reading a book? Are you reading that book to finish some target which you have set? Are you finishing that book because you want to boast it on social media that, hey, you are a reader? Are you reading that to generally gain information? Are you reading that for entertainment? There can be many avenues, many choices which you can take to read a book. You need to be very clear that why you are reading that book. Now, next I'm going to say something which is very interesting. You should never set a target of reading a certain number of books. You should never set a target of, let's say I want to read 100 books. When you don't set that goal and when you enjoy the process of reading, you naturally finish more than 100 books. It's such a paradox. It's obviously a paradox. Now let me explain what happens. Let's say you decide to read 5 books in this particular month. You decide, I want to read 5 books, whatever will happen. I am going to read 5 books. I'm going to put in effort. I'm going to take out time. I'm going to put it in my schedule, whatever. I'm going to read 5 books. You read 1 book, you read 2 books. But after reading those 2 books, you generally feel tired. You generally feel that you've put in a lot of effort now, and then it slowly starts decreasing, and one day you just stop reading and you never go back. It's just done. It's just there in your closet now. You never open that book. This happens because your mindset was not clear when you approached reading. On the other hand, if you read something which you really want to know about, when you read something which really entertains you, then you will fall in love with the habit of reading. You will fall in love with the whole process of reading. I started reading because I really liked science fiction. I really liked spy thrillers. So I picked up books which were very popular in those categories. I picked up books which were really nice in those categories. I absolutely loved enjoying them. Just like I absolutely had a great time reading those books. It was just like watching a movie. That's how I approached. I didn't approach reading like I want to sound cool by reading Murakami because everybody's reading Murakami, so I need to read Murakami. I didn't approach it that way. If you want to read everyone else is reading, you would never be able to develop a reading habit. So you should read what you want to read, what really excites you to read. You can do that. I have supplementary tips and tricks for this particular topic, so you should stay on with the video. I'm going to tell you more such points. Next trick which I follow, which I absolutely follow, is having a detox mechanism before you start reading. So what happens is, we are in a habit of scrolling. Okay, everybody is in a habit of scrolling. We live in a digital world. We need to feel connected to everyone. We need to validate ourselves on social media and whatever. So everyone is connected to the internet. You scroll a lot, be it your phone, your tablet, your laptop, whatever. You're always on the internet in some way or the other. You're sharing WhatsApp messages, you're talking to someone, you're doing something on the internet. While you're doing that, your brain is in 1,000 places. Your brain needs validation. Your brain is expecting a dopamine reward. Your brain is expecting some reward. Your brain expects to do something. So it's always on the high rise. And with this mindset, when you pick up a book, can't focus because your brain is scattered. It's impossible to focus. And now what do? You try to focus a lot of your energy. You put a lot of energy to focus, and that's why you lose interest and you just chuck the overall habit of reading. So this is where detox comes in. Whenever you want to read, whenever you have decided that you want to read a book, just 15 to 20 minutes before that, don't scroll on your phone. Don't use any type of media. Talk to someone, take a walk, you do some cooking, clean your house, whatever. But just don't use your screen. Let let your brain go to a stage where it is able to focus, not focus, where it is able to focus. This will really help you, and this has personally helped me a lot. Next tip which I follow is I surround myself with books. Wherever I go, wherever I live, I've been traveling around a lot. I always have books around me, either in a physical form, just like here, or I have books on my Kindle app, I have books on my iPad. I always keep books around me. Also, where you're sleeping, on your bedside table, near your bed, wherever you're sleeping, you can always keep some books. You don't need to read them every day. Just keep them around you. What happens is, subconsciously somewhere you know you want to read something, and just pass by them, let them speak to you naturally, and you will definitely pick up books one day. It's great to be surrounded by books. You naturally try to pick up any book and read that book. That's what happens when you surround yourself with books. I do that actively, and you should try doing that. It will definitely give you that kickstart to at least read a book. Next hack is a very important hack which I have recently realized. This one is a new tip which I'm sharing with you guys. It is basically the energy and vibe fit. Now what happens is, during the day, different people have different energy levels. Different people feel differently during different times of the day. Some people are energetic during the day. There are some people energetic during the night, some people during the afternoons when they're having their morning coffee, and whatever. You need to find out what is the time, at what times of the day you are the most energetic. Also, you need to find out at what time of the day you are actually relaxing. Almost everybody has a certain time frame in their day where they relax. By relaxing, I mean you lie down, you scroll on social media, you watch some YouTube video, you talk to someone, you go out for a walk. So there are two different things, the energy and the vibe thing. Now what happens is, when you're high on energy, when you know that this point of time I'm really productive, pick up a non-fiction book during this time. Don't pick up a fiction book. Pick up a non-fiction book where you want to absorb information from that book, where you want to absorb any important learning from that book, when you want to absorb a skill from that. On the other hand, when you're relaxing, try to read a fiction book. Whenever, just replace that habit with reading habit. When you're relaxing, let's say you're scrolling on phone, replace that by reading a fiction book, a very light, let's say a short story, let's say a fantasy story, very light fiction book. This is very important to follow, because generally what people do is, when they're energetic, they try to pick up a book which is not fit with their energy levels. Whenever they are high on energy, let's say you pick up a short story, let's say you pick up a normal book, it doesn't match, so you lose interest. On the other hand, when let's say you are relaxing and you pick up a book like Sapiens, you pick up a book like Thinking Fast and Slow, you definitely lose interest and you would never ever complete that book. So you need to find out, actually the first step is finding out at what times of the day are you most energetic, and at what times of the day are you most diffused. The diffused is also a right word, when you're most diffused and you can just casually process information and get some entertainment out of it. I do this a lot, and this has greatly helped me to sustain my reading habit. Next is accountability. Whenever you read a book, tell it to someone. Whenever you're reading a book, whenever you're reading a new story, tell it to your friend. Film yourself, put it on YouTube. Film yourself, or do something, put a reel on Instagram. Do anything, but put it on the internet and tell it to someone. What happens is, you become accountable. You retain more of it. You really have that motivation to tell it to someone. That's why you read it. When you are reading, you always feel, okay, I have to share this with someone. I have to tell a story to someone. So I should read it nicely. So whenever there is accountability, there's a different angle to when you are reading a book. For me, luckily, YouTube is my channel of accountability. So whenever I'm reading a book, I try to share it on my YouTube. So there's a cause and effect kind of a thing here, which fits really beautifully for me. That's why I always have an added motivation to read a book. So be accountable. Whatever you're reading, share it with others. However you can share. Don't do it for people. Let's say you're putting the content on internet as opposed to in-person conversations. If you're putting it on internet, don't put with the intent of who will watch me. Don't put with the intent of will people watch me. Put it for yourself. Put it for your own good. Put it because you want yourself to learn. You want yourself to improve. Put it for yourself and see the results. Next, and the most important is, when you're starting a reading habit, whenever you want to start, developing this kind of a routine, try to find the right book. The first book is the most important book. Let's say you are hearing from everybody that 100 Years of Solitude is the greatest piece of literature ever written. You pick up a classic book because they say, oh, you should read classics. So you pick up a Charles Dickens novel, you pick up 100 Years of Solitude, you pick up Thinking Fast and Slow, all of these dense books, dense classics. You would be bored in just 5 pages because they are not meant for you at such an initial stage. So picking up the right book is the most important part, and you should spend a lot of time picking the right book. Try to understand what really ticks you off. Try to talk to people. Follow booktubers like myself and see what kind of genre interests you, and pick up a really short book so that when you finish it, you have that innate confidence that you can finish books. It will greatly help you to sustain your book journey. It will greatly help you to keep the process flowing, and you will naturally enjoy reading the book. When you start enjoying things, you don't have to put in a lot of effort. Many people ask me that, how do you manage time to read so much? How do you manage to put so much effort into reading? I simply don't. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I pick my books very carefully. I make sure that whatever book I'm reading, it has to be very relevant. It has to resonate with me. It has to speak my language. So this is how it should work. And also, you don't have to finish books. I absolutely don't like this notion of completing books. books. If you don't like a book, never complete it. You are not supposed to read everything and everything. You just have to read whatever ticks you off, which is a great segue into my next tip, which is speed reading fiction. Speed reading is a very popular phenomenon that you would find people doing. Tim Ferriss has a great video on speed reading. Even I have made a video long back on speed reading. You can practice speed reading, but only on fiction books. Non-fiction is not meant to be read in a speedy way. You can practice speed reading when you want to read stories. So there are certain sections of the novels which you can skip. I don't feel the desire to read each and every word, each and every detail that the author wants me to know. So I just sometimes skim through it. So there's a technique for skim reading. There's a technique for skimming. There's a technique for speed reading, which you can learn online easily. So yeah, you can definitely practice speed reading. So here's summarizing everything. There's a beautiful quote by Naval Ravikant which says that love what you read until you love to read. This is what summarizes my entire video. That start reading books and start reading what you absolutely love and see the magic happen. You will beautifully develop a reading habit and you will easily pass the barrier of 100 books. You don't have to set any goals. You don't have to set any New Year resolutions. You don't have to set any agendas that you are going to be a reader now. Being a reader is just enjoying the process and nothing else. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching the video till here. If you found any value in this content, don't forget to like the video and comment down below what your thoughts are, and also comment down below if there are any tips and tricks which you guys follow to develop and sustain a reading habit. Thank you so much for watching the video and thank you so much for all the love and support. That's all for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.